Paul ruined my fun last night.
I
So
appreciated your good-spirited attempt to break me out of Mexico.
I get a phone call. It's like 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's Paul Thurrott. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, he's got to be in Mexican prison. Like, he's got to be in jail. And like, this is his one phone call.
Yep.
And like, this is it. So I'm
Yep.
planning like we got to get the Black Hawk. We got to get the team together. We're going to Mexico. We're gonna extract Paul Thurrott. Midnight raid. And so I start messaging him. He goes, oh no, it was an accident. I was like, damn it.
I didn't. It wasn't like a butt dial really, but I called you and George by mistake, and I don't know. I did. We were out somewhere, and I'm like, I should probably make sure nothing's going on at work. I don't know. I haven't gotten any notifications on my phone or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
so like there was a normal meeting yesterday, but George had asked me if like at 9 o'clock in the morning if I was flying yet, and at that point we were probably on the plane, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I think we had just left. So I wanted to respond to him, but I called him by mistake. There's something, I don't know why. I actually don't remember. I think I just switched it over to you
Mm-hmm.
because it's the only thing in Teams like I care to look at. No, but I don't know why I called. Like I don't know. I don't know.
You have
Teams.
too many mini
It's like
bottles on the flight.
you launch Teams. Do you want to make a call? You know what? We'll just do it. We'll see how it goes.
So where are you exactly?
So we're in Mexico City in an Airbnb. It's a neighborhood called Roma Norte,
It looks like a
which
really
is
nice
this
Airbnb.
place is beautiful. I'm going to post more pictures. They've got all these cool little knickknack things here, but
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, 2 bed, 2 bath. Someone is. Did
I
you hear
heard
that?
that.
So one of the weird things about Mexico is, and we haven't experienced this too much, but people go down the street in the morning and they make these sounds, and they're selling some kind of a service, right? So it could be a knife sharpener, they could have water, it could be, I don't know what the things are. There's a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They all have unique sounds, and so if you live here, you know what to match the sound of the thing. Or maybe they're doing the garbage, It tells you they're on the street, so people run out in their pajamas and stuff. Um, Anyway, yeah, no, this place it's got a great internet connection. It's like over 200 over 60 sort of,
Wow.
like yeah, on Wi-Fi too, like really nice. Um, and yeah, it's other than the moaning guy you just heard, it's been very quiet. We really hear it.
Is that a
Yeah,
human making that noise, or is it an
no,
actual?
it's definitely a recording of a person, but it's someone playing the sound as they walk. So he could have like a push cart of some kind, or she. I mean, you don't know who it is, but yeah, it could literally be, like I said, any variety of services. I don't know.
I feel like
There's
these
pretty
guys
good
could
recordings on. I'm
make a
sorry.
killing selling beer at an NFL game. I mean, that's the same thing, right?
There's really famous sound, like little recordings. Like I read a story somewhere in the last 3-4 months about the woman who, as a child, recorded the sound that one of those vendors uses, and it's all over Mexico. Like, and I think she actually made money from it. Like, I think she did pretty well by it. But it's a recording of her, and it's like I'm not even going to try to imitate it, but it's a very strange sound. Maybe I'll record it when I'm here. I'm sure we'll hear it soon. It's like when you go to the train stations in Paris and they're like, bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
except not as pleasant.
Or anybody who's traveled at least somewhat knows that noise of the BBC News intro, like
Yeah,
that same
exactly.
that jingle. You hear it and it
Yep. Yep.
invokes a feel. Like I can to this day, if I die an early death and you need to get me out of it, put a BlackBerry in the alarm clock noise. That will get me out of a
Yeah.
cold sleep.
That's been going back to the iPhone in one way has been a trigger because all of the sounds are exactly the same as I remember them, and I hate all of them. Like I hate the sound that the ringer makes. I hate the sound that's like the default alarm thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the little, it's like a little machine gun in your ear. And of course, for someone like me, and for you, I would imagine, I haven't been getting up. Well, maybe you have a kid. I don't know. It might be different, but I haven't really been getting up with an alarm for 25 years or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I do need an alarm, that means I really have to get up. Like I have a flight to catch or,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. And it's always like nervous for me because I don't usually do it. So I sleep poorly.
Yep.
And then you get
the same way.
that iPhone sound. And it just,
Well, my brilliance is like, let's say I got to get up at 5 a.m. my body will wake me up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.,
Yes.
4
Yep.
and then
Oh,
you
yeah.
got to check the clock and you're like,
Right. And that's another thing. So I don't sleep with a clock next to me or a
Mhm.
phone or anything like normally. And last night I got up a couple times. In this place, there is an alarm clock on the bed next to the bed, like a normal person would have.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of that same thing, that kind of weird. You look over the clock, you're like, oh, good, it's only 2. You know, oh, good, it's only 3. You know, but
Yeah.
you're getting up like every hour, like an
Yeah.
idiot. You know.
Yep. Anyways, PC sales grew 16%, shocking the entire world, but not really.
I honestly, the number. I remember the number because I did so much math yesterday, probably in a delirious state. But 344.3 million units sold, averaged between Gardner and IDC, so it's somewhere in that ballpark, right? This is, off the top of my head, the highest number of PCs sold since I think 2010, 2011, and it's actually
2011
very close to the peak.
or 20,
Right?
maybe 2012, somewhere around
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay, it's in there. Yeah, 2012 might be right. Yeah, 2010 or 2011 was probably the peak. But this is that's rather astonishing. Like, here's the other bit that's really crazy. PC sales fell last quarter, year over year, and the two biggest PC makers, Lenovo and HP, both experienced significant downward trends in that quarter. And I think it's probably related to component shortages, blah blah blah, whatever. But that was the problem the whole year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And IDC and or Gartner both said, if that quarter had grown like the other quarters, we might have actually set the record for PCs in a year. Like this was a business we were, poo-pooing a couple of years ago, right? It was like falling into a trench. So that's fantastic.
Somebody somewhere inside of Microsoft is going, it's Windows 11.
Well, it's not Windows 11 because they launched that right at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's when PC sales fell. So if you want to come up with a conspiracy theory, Windows 11 might have been the worst thing that ever happened to the PC industry. If it wasn't for Windows 11, maybe we would have sold a lot more of those PCs.
People were so mad they were hate buying PCs.
Yeah. Buying them ahead of, I don't want Windows 11. I don't know. I don't actually think Windows 11 factored at all. But
No, I mean, I don't think it hurt things, but somebody somewhere is going, well, we didn't launch PCs for 5 years, so 2015, everything dropped. We announced a new version of Windows 11. It's coming back. So looking forward to Windows 12 next year, Paul Thurrott.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? Apple did that, right? They had OS 10 for, 15 or more years, more than 15, I don't remember. And then they don't really talk versions numbers, right?
No.
They talk about code names or whatever the names are. But they've done that. They've gone 11, 12, right? Aren't they on? They're probably on 14 now or something.
They're on like geographical mountain names, like.
Yeah. No, but I mean, look. If you're not going to stick on the same one, why not rev the thing?
Yeah.
Every year, they should just go back to basic year naming. So you can call the next one 22 or something, or 23 if you want to push it forward.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but my gut would say we're not going to be waiting 5 years for the next one, like we did with 2000 or Windows 10 to 11.
Right. Yeah, there was a tacit understanding that was going to be it. We're going to be on Windows 10, and now that they've not, switched from that, it's like, well, what are you holding on to here?
If you think about it, just about everything Microsoft has tried to copy from Apple has kind of failed. Zune failed. They tried to do the naming thing with the Surface Pro, where they just called it Surface Pro year.
Yeah, for 1 year. Yep.
They tried to do Windows 10, where 10 was just going to be like the cat names, whatever, right? 10.1, whatever. That failed. They tried to do Groove.
You could make an argument that Surface is a copy of what Apple's doing, first party hardware, blah blah blah. And I don't think Surface has failed, but
yeah,
it is certainly not taking the industry by storm.
No, but I mean, to me, them building a PC is less of a stretch than them trying to sell Zune, for example. They tried to do a wearable, which maybe not Apple, but
yeah. So again, I keep bringing this up for some reason, I guess because I'm obsessed by it right now. But when you go through the history of Microsoft, like I've been doing lately, the thing you kind of forget today, because Microsoft is so very established now, is like cloud computing, right? And then they have the legacy businesses that are still huge, like Windows and Office. But when they were running the world, you got to remember, like for maybe 20 years, 15 to 20 years, Bill Gates would just deliver what he would call vision speeches. He's like, I'm going to describe the future to you. Here we go. And the assumption there was always that Microsoft would be the one building the platform underneath all that stuff. And they were going to be in everything. They were going to be in all forms of digital media. They bought what was Ultimate TV, Web TV.
Yeah.
They were doing, OSs or platforms, whatever, for tablet PCs, for media center PCs, portable media center PCs, smart displays, portable devices of all kinds, PDAs, handheld PCs, smartphones, sort of dumb phones. They were going to be everything. .NET, right, was like this supposed sort of open platform. Yeah, open. It's like web and Windows, but the assumption there was the web would be delivered by Windows servers.
Mm-hmm.
It was Windows, and it was Microsoft at the center of everything. So I think when you get into the mid 2000s there with Zune or whatever, Groove Music even, it's like these are the vestiges of we have to do everything because, there's still a chance we're going to be the center of the world.
Yeah.
And it's just I think that was just a mentality of people who were still stuck at the company and maybe should have left and we're doing the old thing,
Yeah, I would be real interested to see if you can draw like straight parallels to Microsoft copied Apple, and then people will be like, oh, other people are doing it, whatever. When Microsoft tried to do a comparable to what Apple was doing, if it succeeded or failed, I bet the fail is way higher than the succeed.
Oh, it's not even close. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's on the order of 90-something%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
So that the logic here is don't build your own ARM processor.
Well, so you see the news, they hired an Apple guy.